Bonjour and welcome to this special CopaLoadofRacing preview of Larc Day at the Prix ParisLongchamp, as it likes to be known as now. The meeting returning back to Longchamp after a couple of years break while they renovated the stands and what have you there at the French track, having spent 2 years at Chantilly, of course. So it's great to be back at Longchamp for what is Europe's finest race weekend. We've already raced today, but of course Sunday is the big day, hence the CopaLoadofRacing preview tonight of tomorrow's racing there. Fantastic card, as you would imagine. Of course spearheaded with the Prix de Larc, the Triomphe, excuse my French, and no, it's going to be a cracking day, and I'm going to look at the big Group 1 races on offer there tomorrow. It's really a cracking week. I kind of wish that ITV will be, of course, screening, I think, 3 races from the meeting, of course, including the Arc. But it would be great if the actually terrestrial TV could have actually screened the whole meeting, even if ITV had moved the racing after the Arc to ITV4, and we could have enjoyed, because there's some cracking races after the Arc itself. But let's get stuck in to look at those races. The opener is at 1:20. I love the names of a lot of the races in France as well. And the Marcel Boussac is the opener there. I'm going to go actually the first 2 races. Look at Richard Hannon has 2 horses that have caught my eye going into those opening 2 races at Longchamp, and they're both second favourites at the moment in the market. Star Terms is the one who I'm going to select for the first, and Marcel Boussac was second in the Mayhill, ran a decent race, no real chance with a winner, but I think in this particular race he has a real opportunity to get that Group 1 race under his belt, and Star Terms for me is the one that I will select in the Marcel Boussac at 1:20. And the 1:55, the Jean-Luc Lagardère, Boitron is the one that I'll pick out in that race. This won the Denford at Newbury in pretty impressive style, and will be taking on Anador, the Freddie Head horse, who's odds-on favourite at the moment. But I think Boitron looked impressive at Newbury. That was a listed race. It's a big step up in class, but 2-year-olds, really that's the best they can do at this stage, isn't it? They just go to progress and progress. And French connection with this horse, with a name, I suppose, but also its breeding is on the French side, so it was a natural choice to come to this race rather than look at some of the 2-year-old races at the likes of Newmarket at this time of year. But I think the Hannon team seem pretty confident that the first 2, these 2 Star Terms and Boitron and the Jean-Luc Lagardère, can do the trick for them, and I am confident that this horse can do the business here against the odds-on favourite. Now we move on to the 305. There's an Arab Group 1 race stuck between the Lagardère and the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, but I'm not looking at the Arabian racing. It's something I don't follow, so I'm in no position to give you my thoughts on that one. Looking at the big race itself, cracking to see Enable is back, of course, to take this on. Interesting that the likes of Roaring Lion is obviously going to go for the Champions Stakes at Ascot, and I can understand that. It's probably a more suitable trip, I would imagine, for that horse. But Enable had that great prep run at Kempton last month, John Gosden obviously set fair to get that run into the horse after it being laid off during the summer. So we'll be fresh. Some may look at the bounce factor after that run, but she's a classy horse. This she's shown that in the Arc previously, at Sean T last year, of course. So comes in with a hell of a chance. But I've always liked Sea of Class, who's next in the market, of course, and Sea of Class, who won really impressively at York, as we all seen. Will come into this race really as the one to take Enable down, and I think it can. Very impressive on the eye as the way it travelled into the race. So it's a matter of opinion, or that's what racing's about. But I'm always in a position where if I've got little doubts about it, if it's a favourite, it's a favourite, and I would sit here and say to you, if I thought Enable was, if it had a campaign like it was last year, if it really was coming into this race with a good few wins under its belt this season, then I would probably say no, Sea of Class has got too much on its hands here. But I'm going with the fact that possibly Enable might not just be at that prime as she was last year. I may be wrong, but I'm looking for little dents there that it can maybe lead me to go for something better priced, such as Sea of Class in this situation. And that's why I'm favouring on the William Haggis horse here. Not just for the sake of taking on the favourite, but because I really do think there is a touch of class with Sea of Class, and that she can deliver it. She's obviously going to get the allowance of, being there, the fillies allowance to go with that. And the other aspect that I look at in this race is that although she's not drawn very well, and the other horse I'm going to speak about here isn't drawn very well either, and notoriously that's very difficult, but you have to then pin your hopes on the fact that this horse is has the ability to overcome that bad draw. If I think back to the likes of Tigruda, when she ran in this race a few years back, she had a very poor draw as well, and she was going up against Triomphe, let's not forget, who was a superstar, as we know, and she ran a belter in that position. This race isn't as deep as that, even, Enable maybe like a Triomphe. Time will tell tomorrow, but I think Sea of Class can come away from that draw. Now there's a horse at a bigger price in this race who I think will suit conditions. Hasn't really, in my view, disappointed as such. That means she's trading around, the foal, is trading around about 40 to 50 to 1. And I think as an each way punt, it might be worth a bet that this Roger Varian horse could run really well. There's a bit of cut in the ground at the moment in France. That will not be any problem for Defoe. Won the Glasgow Stakes at Hamilton last year, then went on and won well at Newbury in soft ground. Disappointed in the St Ledger, no doubt about that. Came back this year, won 2 races early on at Newmarket, and seemed to be going well, and has been there or thereabouts since then. Run at Baden last time out, finished second in the Group 1 there, but he has got a wide draw, there's no doubt about that, and that's the big question mark. His price may have been a little bit lower if he had a better draw, but I think Defoe for an each way squeak is something to look at. But Sea of Class for me to take down Enable, and maybe do that as a forecast. You get a better price than Enable to beat Sea of Class Go for the reverse if you want, but I think that it might be worthwhile doing that in this race as well. So moving from the Arc to the 350, the Prix de l'Opera. Each wee one in this I'm going to go for is Lady Franco for Andre Fabre. Hasn't won this season, has only raced twice at Deauville, and finished fourth and then second. Doesn't fill you with a massive amount of confidence, those runs, but it's had a nice break, and obviously I think this race has been in the back of the mind of the great Andre Fabre, and it's run about 12 to 1, maybe 10s in some places, but I think at an each way shout, she has a decent chance here in this race, Lady Franco. Again, I think this type of ground may be more up her street, hence the weight for this race, and not seen since that run in Deauville in August. So Lady Franco for a wee each way punt there. Now on to the 425. It's the Abbey, the Prix de l'Abbey. The sprint just shy of 5 furlongs. It's a real burn up here. Batash is back to defend its trophy, having won this race at Chantilly very impressively. Disappointed last time out, but let's not forget that was the same case when it came into this race last year. It disappointed in the Nunthorpe, and bounced back in great style to win this but last year. So again, that's worth considering, not to rule out, because it didn't perform as well at York. Maybe York just isn't its cup of tea, and you know, Longchamp's different to Chantilly, but it's a speed merchant's track. This, you know, get out, get a good position, and take it from there. It's not a horse that likes to be out in front. We know that, having remembered from Royal Ascot, but has been left out and bummed it up in the last couple of furlongs and stretched clear in the likes of the King George at Goodwood and this race last year. So has a real chance. Again, Havana Grey's in there for the one at Curragh. You've got Alpha Delfini, who won the Nunthorpe. Mabs Cross, who was just nudged out of that race by Alpha Delfini. Alpha Delfini, remember, Tangerine Trees had won this race for the same connections a few years back at a big price, and Alpha Delfini comes into this having won that Nunthorpe and very impressively. So they cannot be dismissed. But one that I'm going to look at actually is one that won the Flying Childers at Doncaster last time out. It's only going to be carrying 8-7 because of its weight for age that it's getting here, and that's Soldier's Call. And this race can be rough, and for young horses that might, you know, it might take a back on that, but they obviously feel that the horse has the condition and the constitution to take that on, and it's worth a try. Why not? And no, it's a speed merchant again, 5 furlongs as it did with the Flying Childers, no problem here. And I think around about 12 to 1, this horse an each way punt may be the one to go on to take on Batash and the rest. So Soldier's Call for me could run really well. And the last race, the 5 o'clock, the Flory, you have a horse stepping back to a distance that's more than suitable, is Sir Dancelot. Raced in the Sprint Cup at Haydock last time, not his trip. It was really deep ground at Haydock, as we know, that day as well. Doesn't mind a bit of cut in the ground, but that was tough conditions. Back to it does say 6 furlongs in it, but it's just shy of 7 this, and that will more suit. You've got the wily old fox of Gerard Mossy back on board. He knows this horse really well, and I think it will suit it. And I think Sir Dancelot can take the money there in the last of the group races on the card at Longchamp, the 5 o'clock there. So cracking day to look forward to. Looking forward to it very much. Starting off at 1:20 with that Marcel Boussac, and some really cracking races to get stuck into. So I've got my French top on here to show my support to this fantastic race day, of course. But I'm pulling it back actually and completely going off track. Of course, there's racing at Kelso tomorrow in a Scottish angle. A decent wee card there. I think it's going to be really testing conditions probably at Kelso. There's rain forecast to come in the late morning, early afternoon. One race one horse I'll put up in the 250 is Golden Jeffrey for Ian Jardine. Is raced on the flat. I think I remember backing it at Musselburgh when it won. So has been campaigned throughout the summer. Raced at Perth, didn't disgrace itself. This is a kind of slight drop in class for it. He's been dropped by the handicapper as well, and I think could run pretty well for your money in the 250 Golden Jeffrey. Right, that's that. So as I say, lots to look forward to in that respect. I'll be back now next Friday night. There may not be a vlog. I'm going on holiday, and also I could possibly try and squeeze one in early Saturday morning, but possibly they won't, so I'll just put some tips up on Twitter for that one. The following Friday after that, we'll be looking at Champions Day at Ascot, which is going to be just as good a card as we get at Ascot as we see at Longchamp. But so plenty to look forward to, plenty to get stuck into over the next couple of weeks, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. But for the moment, have yourself a great Saturday night, and enjoy the racing tomorrow. Vive la France, CopaLoadofRacing.